Hello, friends. This is Christopher Davis-Shannon, and welcome to the Magic Ukulele Podcast. One of my favorite things about this tiny instrument is just how broadly the definition can apply. An ukulele could have 4 strings or 6 strings or 5 strings. It could have a scale length of 13 inches or 20 inches and be tuned in a host of different ways. And something that I love is that there are luthiers around the world who to this day are pushing the boundaries as to what we see as an ukulele. In this next series, I'll be interviewing those luthiers who are coming up with new and exciting concepts in the ukulele space. And I thought what better place to start than right here in London down the street in Herne Hill with the great Will Grove White. Now you might know this name from the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain, but he's now retired from touring and has started building ukuleles, and they are certainly something special. Will Grove White.
Hello, Chris.
Thank you for making the long trek from South London to South London to come talk to me today.
Good, no problem. It was exhausting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, in the rain, it's always exhausting in London. You're a bit of an oddball in the uke world for a lot of reasons. I hope you don't take offense to that. But to me, in that you came to building ukes not from the perspective of a woodworker or as a guitar luthier, but a performer of uke that then made that transition, or I guess not really a transition because you still perform, but that sidestep into the world of also making instruments. What spurred that transition in you to want to make something?
Well, it's a long story, Chris. It's basically I've always loved making stuff. And in a way, I probably am more naturally a maker than a musician, but I ended up being a musician sort of by mistake. So when I was young, I always played the ukulele and ended up in the ukulele orchestra just for fun. But what I was really going to do for a proper job was, up in the air. But one of the things I was doing was making little winding toys, which are small automata toys. So where you wind a handle and it just moves some gears around, and it moves some characters around or something on the top. And I was just getting into doing that when the ukulele orchestra took off and kind of scuppered that plan and was much more fun and more lucrative as well. Potentially it looked like. So anyway, went off and did that. And but on the road with the ukes, we got shown an awful lot of crazy ukuleles, and we met a lot of people who made stuff, and I was always interested in that side of it. So when I left, I had in COVID, I took the opportunity to jump the ukulele orchestra ship, just because there were no gigs then, and I'd been in it 30 years at this stage. So just to take a different angle on what I was going to be doing, and the most natural thing seemed to be I wanted to make something, and I thought, well, ukuleles would be the best thing to do, because I'm 50 and I can't start from zero in another area, the flute or the trumpet or something.
You could have been the best bassoon manufacturer
I could
in all
have.
of England.
Who knows? And so I just took that sidestep, like you say, and it made a huge amount of sense to me the minute I had the idea, because I knew everybody that I could call and ask to help me, basically.
Yeah, and who was it that you started calling?
Well, the first people I called were Liam. Liam Kirby
from Wondercomer Instruments, in that case back there,
who was just brilliant. And I decided to go on a little mini ukulele road trip, which involved basically dropping in on Andy Miles, who makes the nano ukes.
Yes.
And he just showed me his tiny shed, and I thought, oh, this is really achievable, because the limited tools he does that with is quite impressive. And he was very hospitable, very sweet, as was his wife, and we just had tea and talked about ukuleles. And then I drove on to Liam's place, and God, he's really got a whole other way of doing things with no tools.
Absolutely, I've been out to Liam's
tools
as well and seen what he He does, and that's one of the things I love about Liam's work is that it's so hands-on. No power tools.
No,
every
absolutely.
uke is so imperfectly perfect.
You're right.
Is the beauty of what he
Yeah.
and it's you can see his fingerprints all over every piece of the instrument.
Yeah. Sure. And all over his walls.
Yes.
And all over everything. It's great. He's got such a chaotic little workshop. It's fantastic. It really charmed me, that. And he again was very generous. And then we started to build a ukulele via WhatsApp together, where I basically made a neck. I think I made a neck and installed a rosette. But at that point, Pete Howlett, there was an opportunity to go and do a few weeks internship with Pete Howlett up in Snowdonia.
That's something you can't say no to.
No, of course not. And he was fantastically up. He was really up for it and wanted to just we made a koa pineapple ukulele together. But he just taught me through all the techniques, and it was great because he really is the Mr. Miyagi to my Karate Kid, or whatever, you know what I mean? And he had all the wisdom, and he had all these rules. He wouldn't let me take notes. He said, "No, you must remember." So I was walking around all day going like 172 millimeters, 172 millimeters. And then I'd get back in the evening and just write everything down I could. But that was fantastic, and he had lots of doubles of certain tools, which at the end I took with me, and a few old moulds and things, which just to get me going. Which he was, they were literally in the recycle bin sort of thing. So I took them with me. But that was really instructive, and he was incredibly generous with his knowledge, and I really came away from there just thinking, right, I really can do this. I know what I need to do. I just need to have a lot of goes at this. I need to make at least 20 just to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then there were other people who were, because one good thing about Pete was he said, don't just do it like I tell you. Do your own thing, do
which you certainly have.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't think anyone would ever question that you make a unique instrument.
No, that's true. Yeah. But one thing I really wanted to do was to get this, like on the back of a uke, on this bit.
I grab my nicest uke.
Yeah, exactly. But this, where the top of the body meets the neck, is often a flat plane.
Yeah.
Because they're bolted on. You want those two bits to be really flat. But what I like is when it meets on a curve. And Pete had once made a ukulele like that, but he said it was just the biggest pain in the arse to make. that he didn't want to do it again. So, but Marco Todeschini, in Italy, I also had emailed, because he's really is an extraordinary maker,
and he's always pushing the envelope of what you can build with and how you can build. So I love about Marco's work.
Yeah, well, we didn't do many gigs in Italy, but we did do one, and Marco was there, and he had a few ukes, and just when you played them, you knew they were really special, and they really threw the sound out. And so I always kept my eye on what he was up to, and when he had Antica Ukulele. But anyway, he was very generous and showed me this other technique to join the neck, like a violin maker joins the neck to a violin, where you cut it's hard to describe in words really, but where it's not like a dovetail joint, it's more of a block joint.
Okay.
And that led on to other possibilities, like wonky things.
Yes, the wonky uke. One thing that always has struck me about your ukes since I first played them is they are just very playable. You can tell that someone that plays the instrument all the time makes the instrument.
Oh, right.
And I think, so some ukes I play and I go, that's really pretty, but you didn't think about what it would feel like to actually play it. And it's as if your instruments are designed from the ground up just to be beat up a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Oh no, I'm a big because I think that especially for me, starting to make ukuleles, you think, well, look, there's a lot of nice ukuleles out there, So what am I going to do?
What's special? Yes.
What am I going to add to this pile of stuff? I could just make some more ukuleles to add into this pile, but there's people who are doing that really brilliantly already, and lots of people using CNC or doing this complicated inlay stuff and all of that, which is great for whoever loves that stuff. For me, it doesn't do anything for me to have a pattern of a flamingo up my fretboard or whatever it is. I'm not impressed by it, and especially if it's CNC'd, I don't really see the point, because you might as well just print it.
Where's the artistry?
Well, kind of
in a way.
I want the real struggle. I want the blood and tears and the agony of the craftsperson messing it up.
It's all about that agonizing, starving artist aesthetic, right?
Yeah. Well, or but again, there are people who are brilliant at that, and it takes a lifetime. So my view is to just let the wood do the talking. Go for the simplicity. Go for very, very stripped down instruments where the wood is the star, really.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you don't put binding on your instruments.
I've tried a couple.
Inlays are very simple.
Yeah, the rosette is just a simple rosette. Yeah, the binding, I haven't done binding. No, but I mean, I must do some. But a bit of me just thinks, well, it's not necessary.
Sure,
it's an extra.
Pretty.
It's pretty. It can be really pretty. Yeah. But again, there are lots of people who do that really nicely. So and. It's not something anyone's ever asked me for, so far, which is an interesting thing. I've been using nice woods is what I've been focusing on mostly, and just keeping it super, super simple. Yeah, and they're kind of everyman instruments, like you're saying. They're knockabout instruments that are meant to be played.
Yeah, I don't feel I need to be careful with your uke. No offense.
No, absolutely.
I think I am allowed to strum them when I pick up one. And I've been lucky to get to play so many of your ukes over the past couple of years.
Yeah, great.
Because you're not far from here. So you had a Koa soprano. Earlier this year. Yeah, actually, which I think it might have been the first Koa soprano. I've always said Koa is something I've never bonded with. In a uke, it's so bright, and I loved that instrument. It was just such an understated take at Koa. It wasn't crazy flamed and polished. It was beautiful.
No. But I just like
it just worked.
No, just something really simple. If you've got really good ebony fretboard, ebony head plate, Koa body, it's just simple. Why do you need to put more stuff on it? I don't even like putting dots on the front.
I've noticed, yes.
Because I just think if you're going to go for the simple aesthetic...
Do you do side dots?
Side dots, yeah.
Thank God.
Because otherwise, that's a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But side dots are definitely the better thing to have.
The front dots are for the audience, right?
Yeah.
So they can see what you're playing, that's what it is, so they can steal your licks.
That's it. You don't want anyone stealing. You can't steal licks on my ukes.
You use some unique woods too. I know yew is one of them that I've seen you build quite a few.
Yew is fantastic. Well, I did it first for the joke because it could be called a ukulele. I thought, that's fun. That'll be fun. And I'd seen
it's beautiful.
People had used them. It's extraordinary. And I went down to this guy David Dyke, who's a luthier supplier down in he's sort of past Tunbridge Wells, and I advise a visit any time because it's. He's quite an eccentric guy, and he's got an old schoolhouse or something, which is just full of wood, and he chops it himself, and he's a very sweet bloke. You sit and have a coffee with him, and he had all this yew that had fallen down from a botanical gardens in a big storm, and he'd sliced it all up but they were all too small to make guitars out of. So he was really saying, will you have a go with this yew? So I thought, and it looks fabulous because a lot of it's got this white and this...
It's that contrast.
Sapwood
especially when it's book matched, you get these really cool...
Yeah, fantastic.
Almost like Versark images.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you see in the wood?
You can see what you want. And then I've been... and then when you do use the grains in such a strong way, because then I've been doing this wonky thing.
Yes, we should talk about the wonky uke, which is... an interesting design.
Yeah.
Your signature, maybe.
It is. Well, to be honest, the only ukes I'm getting asked to make now are all wonky. My commission list it's got about, I don't know, 10 or 15 wonky ukes on it. So I just think, oh right, this is interesting.
It's the thing.
It seems to be what. Well, I mean, again, it's that thing of having something of your own that you can.
And I've told you this before about the wonky uke. I was really surprised when I played it because obviously it's just crazy looking.
Yes, it
it's
looks
wonky.
silly. Yeah,
it looks silly, but when you pick it up and hold it, it's a very comfortable instrument because you have. For those of you not familiar with the wonky uke, it's essentially a uke body, but the neck comes off at what, 45-degree angle or so? Is there what is the specific angle here?
I don't know what the angle is exactly. It's
whatever it happens to be that day.
No. It's set. It's set. Yeah, because it has to work through the.
But because of that, when you hand hold, which I always hand hold my instruments, the neck ends up in this really nice. It's right where you want it to get good leverage.
Yeah, exactly.
To fret. So although it seems like it's made for aesthetic reasons, and I mean,
well,
was it made for aesthetic reasons, or were you thinking about playability?
Well, no. At first, I just thought when I realised because of this way of putting the neck on that Marco had shown me. I realised didn't have to put the neck on right in the middle. I could put it over to one side, and I thought that'd be funny. You could make like a Picasso uke, with the neck going sort of diagonally down across the body. So which means the bridge is not in the middle of the soundboard; it's over towards the right if you're right-handed. But if you're a left-handed player, you really need a completely different instrument.
Right,
has the one.
You can't just flip that upside down. You're going to end up with something very awkward to play.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I thought, and it would actually just tip the neck up, so it wouldn't be horrible to play. So I thought, well, I'll make one and see what it's like. And it was terrific, and it just sounded great. And to be honest, I think it's probably must be a tiny bit less resonant than the if you have the bridge right in the centre. But
sure.
To my ear, I've made some wonky ones which are more resonant than straight up and down ones. Yeah, I think it all depends on the wood and all sorts of factors which are a mystery to me still, and a mystery
to all of us, I think.
To everybody, yeah. Now I remember Pete telling me that he'd made 2 cherry ukes, I think it was cherry ones, from the next slice in the bit of wood, and the necks from just above each other on a piece. So they were exactly the same piece of wood, exactly the same thicknesses, exactly the same. And he made 2 of exactly the same ukes from these things, and they both sounded different. So there's not really a kind of rhyme, or there's no exact. People often say, what wood gives this best tone, or what wood gives? I don't. And if I'm honest, I say, I don't know. You might get lucky, but you on the whole sounds great. Mahogany sound, all of this stuff.
But it depends on too many
factors.
Because I know I've played mahogany ukes that I think of mahogany as dark, like most of us do. Right, I think like warm is mahogany, and I've played some mahogany ukes that are the brightest ukes I've ever played.
Yeah.
And you need to put a string on them to mellow them out, and and that's the thing when you're a builder and you're doing these custom instruments is you never really know what it's going to sound like until it's together, right?
Oh man, that's the weirdest thing about the whole thing is that you'd have you build it, you stick it together, you do all the frets, you build the bridge, do all this stuff, and it takes such a long process, so many fiddly little skills to get your head around. And then you varnish the thing, and then you finally stick the bridge on, and then you make the nut and the saddle, and the tuners go on. And then basically the final thing you do, the last piece after all of this stuff, is you put the strings on, and then you find out what it sounds like, and you go, oh, that's what it sounds like.
Sounds like a uke.
But at that point, you can't go, sounds a bit funny. I'll just change a few things about this because the instrument is made, it's finished. It just tells you what it is. It's a bit like when I had my the first son, when my wife had our son, and it's he's being made, you know, and then he comes into the world, and it's just he's just a person, you know. You kind of think you can change this person, you can kind of to a degree, but basically
you can't go change that internal bracing in the child, can you?
He's the same guy who came out that day now that he is 20 years later, you know. So yeah, no, you can't change it, but that's all for the good, really.
That's part of the fun.
It's part of the fun. It's just finding out, and it's a real bummer as well when you put those strings on and you just think
it's not what you wanted.
I knew the top was too thick, or I knew I shouldn't. I tried some new bracing. Ugh, it doesn't work.
I know. All of my instruments are custom made by different people, and whenever I get that shipping notification, I just start praying at that point.
Oh, right,
that when I open it, it's going to sound anything like what I have imagined. Because as a player, I'm that one more step removed from the process of just,
of course,
trust in the luthier to get it right.
Yeah, no, but there's so many different things you can change about it all. It's interesting, but the wonky thing has been good for me. And I made my first left-handed one.
I saw that.
That
yes.
was good. Yeah.
You have a couple other funky designs.
Oh yeah.
Aside from the wonky, which I think is, I know I've seen. I believe you did a soprano with a tenor neck, which I've seen done before, but very rarely, and I think is very interesting. I have a student who plays a soprano with a tenor neck and adores it because he gets the room of a tenor, but gets that punch of a lot of the punch of a soprano.
Yeah.
Out of it.
No, I think it's terrific. I mean, my favourite instrument is the soprano because that's what I played all these years.
I mean, that's the real uke, right?
Exactly. And I think if you want to play I'll make tenors and stuff, and I quite like tenors. But actually, I think a really nice, comfortable size is a concert body with a tenor scale. Because it doesn't look too freakish.
Yeah, which the soprano certainly can.
The soprano on this huge long neck does.
Well, I'm sure you get neck dive issues with something like that too, right? That's got to be hard to work out.
I guess so, but I think you only find out years later. You know, when it all starts warping and.
Ooh, yeah.
Is that what you mean?
No, I just mean the weight. Because the tuners are so displaced from the body, right?
Oh, I see.
These balance issues in holding the instrument is going to be tough.
That's true. Well, you just have to load it up with little people inside to counterbalance the
That's true. That's true.
But no, I've got the other one I did was a soprano scale on a tenor body.
Yeah, which I love this one.
That's really nice because I thought that was one I was thinking. All these frets, like I've played so many ukuleles and I've never really gone above maybe the 8th fret or something. So I just thought, well, why waste all that metal? You know, why not either make a soprano? First I thought I'll just make a soprano uke with 8 frets, and that will be my kind of first position uke. That would be a funny idea. Cause, I mean, a lot of my ideas come from having a silly idea, or thinking of a funny name, a wonky ukulele.
But now you have the facility to make it come to life.
Then you go,
it's a dangerous thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, and then so yeah, it was the biggest. That was a really big sound. I made a spruce top tenor with this 8 fret neck.
Yeah,
which met at the 8th fret.
The spruce top one, is that the one that I've played that's still at your workshop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a guy coming to pick it up. He's got some ambitions for it.
It's an interesting instrument too because it, despite the scale length having such an effect on. I think the sound of an instrument, which is why I play soprano, because I feel like longer scale lengths sound substantially different. Right. But with the tenor body attached to it, it doesn't sound like a soprano.
No. It sounds,
at all.
It sounds massive. It sounds absolutely massive.
But it has this deep voice to it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's interesting as well. These which is something I want to experiment with, is just using much lighter. You know, the classic way of making your uke really shout is to use a much lighter top.
Yeah.
You know. So far I've just used the same woods for the side, back, and top. Yeah. Like a traditional mahogany Martin. You know, just you go right. Well, this is a uke. I'll make it all from yew. You know, this is because they're so small. But obviously, when you get to making tenors and things like that, you might want a bit more sustain, or you might want a bit more ring. So you want to use. People are asking for spruce and cedar.
Yeah.
But the spruce and cedar, they don't look so fancy. That's my trouble.
No, that's sort of what I love about cedar. Is it's just
it's
so
simple.
Plain.
Okay, yeah.
Understated.
Cedar's very nice, I must say. Cedar is a special wood. Spruce can look a bit white.
Yes,
yeah. A bit pale, like an undercooked chicken. But I guess you can. But I think that would be good to try some of those on sopranos, which I haven't done, and I'm just having a go on your Japanese.
The ancestors.
Yeah.
With the mango sides,
Right,
which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
And a cedar top with mango sides on there. Mango's a beautiful one.
Yeah,
and a nice sustainable wood too, which I love.
Yes, that's true.
About it. I've known a lot of the woods you use seem to be from here.
Yeah, well, I've been.
Is that on purpose?
Well, I've been trying to kind of keep it. Keep it local if possible. Yeah. But I mean, then again, if someone says, "Oh, I've got these great bits of old Macquarie, some old African wood," you're not going to say, "Well, no, thank you."
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
But it's all from around, and it's all stuff that might be chucked away, or might. I mean, there's a good one actually. A friend. She's become a friend, but she bought a ukulele off me, and now she wants me to make a ukulele from her father's old chest of drawers.
Oh, beautiful! That's actually the tenor that Liam's building for me now is out of an old wardrobe that he had, and he's made a few ukes out of it already. Yeah. It's just nice old mahogany, and as you said, someone's going to just chuck it away. Yeah. What a waste for that old wood to just rot in a landfill. No.
And I like that. I like those ideas of people asking. I like it when people ask for something particular.
But something like that, you get that emotional attachment to it as well, which is beautiful because our instruments are always sort of an extension of ourselves, I think, whether we like it or not.
No, and people like a story as well. People love a story about their any of the wood or any. I mean, we all love stories anyway. I love stories, and I notice it when I say, to someone, "Oh, this fingerboard is from some wood that I got from this guy, and he's interesting because this and this, and it's an offcut from a piece he made, and then they're like, oh, can I write this down, because it's all part of the story, Yeah.
And you've been touring around with inventing a few other instruments too. I think we should chat about.
Touch on the kanzoo.
The kanzoo, which I have sitting over there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's locked
okay,
up.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm really worried about people stealing it from you because they've been selling very well. They're a hot commodity.
Well, they're selling quietly. They're ticking over. We sold another one this morning off to America, but we're selling about one or two a few a week at least. But we're definitely over the 150 mark, I'd say now, and it's only been out for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Which is basically a kazoo in a tin can. Which is what I've been playing as a fun addition to my solo stuff, which I'd used in recordings before.
It's great. I mean, it's a wah-wah trumpet
sort
of sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
With no work. It's all just right there for you. It's great.
Yeah, so you make the the kazoo, the vibrating bit of the kazoo is inside the can. The mouthpiece is outside, and then you cup your hand over the open end of the can to make the wah-wah. And it's a great sound. It's a really good sound, and it's I'm hoping it's going to catch on and go like wildfire.
I think it will.
I think it will have a constant sort of strange demand for those people who just want to take their kazoo to the next level. What's nice about it though is it does create a sort of because the kazoo is, I've always found, a bit of a disappointing instrument, although I love the idea of it. I love the idea of the utility of it.
Yeah.
In that if you can sing, you can play the kazoo. I like that because it's non-hierarchical. That's why I like the ukulele.
Right, easy access, yeah.
But also that's why I like about the ukulele. It's not pretentious. It's not like you can only play this if you've studied in no, you can no matter how much the highfalutin people tell you, you can play really quick. You can play a tune in 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You may be stuck with that tune for the next 3 years and not get any better, but you can play a tune. So I like any instrument that's accessible, quickly accessible to people, because I think there's a lot of pomposity about a lot of music.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but it actually makes this. But the kazoo is a bit rubbish. Let's face it.
The poor kazoo.
Yeah, it's a bit of a harsh sound, and I say that as someone who. When my wife and I got married, we ordered 150 wedding kazoos from kazoo.com.
Wedding kazoos?
Yeah, they were white kazoos with gold lettering and a trumpet end. They did the congregation did "Here Comes the Bride" on the kazoos. So I do quite like kazoos, but this does mean it becomes more like a voice. You can emote more with it. You can emote, exactly. Absolutely. And you can express yourself. Yeah, so that's fun. And there could be other. You know, I've still been toying with this idea of trying to make the trumpet like a Stro ukulele. Yeah, you know, there are some ukuleles I'd really like to make, which haven't been made yet.
One unique aspect about your instruments is the tiny person inside each one. Yeah. Where did this idea come from? It's obviously for acoustical reasons.
Obviously. Well, they control the sound inside. I've always been quite sort of obsessed with tiny things and miniature stuff. And so part of my making of Automata at the beginning was linked to those little things, attraction to that tiny world, and the ukulele I think probably in itself is a tiny instrument. But I thought I would put something. Again, it's like thinking I want to make this. I want instruments to be fun. I want people to look at them, hold them, explore them. There's sort of stuff inside. You know, it's got a funny wonky neck. It's got a little person inside it. You have to angle it very carefully to see the person. And there was this famous woodwork cabinet maker called Mouseman, and he used to carve a little wooden mouse onto all his cabinets, and they're highly, thought of and highly sought after. So I thought, wow, I can do a little Mouseman trick. and I've always loved these miniature people that you get in miniature railways.
Yes.
So that was a big thing when we used to go on tour with the ukulele orchestra around Germany, especially around Germany. There would always be miniature village or miniature something in the town. And me and Jonty, the bass player, and Dave was obsessed with miniature villages as well. We'll go and look around there, and then they would be selling in the gift shop little boxes of like tiny people or tiny babies or people in swimming costumes.
So you've been collecting these for years.
Yeah, I've been collecting.
And weren't quite sure what to do with them
exactly.
until now.
They've been on the shelf, yeah. But now people ask me, can I have a cat? Can I have a cat inside?
I was wondering if people knew when they ordered what they were getting, or whether this was your choice as to what's going.
Well, I've started asking people because it's quite fun, or just offering them a choice of what's in the box, what I've got there, But no, but people are quite particular. Someone's asked for a badger.
Badger?
They said
creature.
Long story. Yeah. They said, and someone else wanted a man and a woman and a cat. I mean, we'll see. I'm sure the request could get pretty weird. I'm sure, but I'm up for anything.
They fit so perfectly, just sitting on the brace, and I love seeing them inside.
Well, I think because I have to carve a bit of the brace out to get them to sit on it.
Okay.
And this is a case of my need to do something strange over the structure of the instrument. It's still good. It's still solid.
It's what gives them the unique sound. Let's be honest. It's that last little bit that differentiates it.
No, exactly. But I think it's just thinking about stuff. Because I want to make these. I want to make them. I want people to buy them. That's the aim of the game.
Sure.
And so, it's just thinking of odd little things that fit with what my aesthetic and what I want to do and what I would want my instrument to be like, and amuse people. My terrifying moment was when I put a picture of the Wonky Uke on social media, and someone said, "Oh, good luck finding a case for that." And I just thought, "Oh no, I hadn't thought of that." I was so gutted. I thought, oh,
how
no.
did you find a case for that? I've never thought about that either.
Well, I just thought, I wonder if it fits in a soprano case, because my soprano is a little bit small, and it just fits perfect in
a gig bag or in a hard case?
In a hard case.
Oh,
just
interesting.
fits in a normal case, yeah. So that was a relief. So then I replied to him all smugly with a photo.
Yeah. I knew this all along.
Exactly, yeah. But that could have really scuppered it, yeah.
You certainly have those little challenges as you go along as a builder, things that you don't think of.
Yes.
Until the very last minute.
No, I mean, I don't know if there's another form of sort of, well, there must be a million of crafts and stuff, but there are so many particular skills in making an instrument. I mean, I'm sure it's the same with saxophones and trumpet, because you're bending just bending the sides is one thing. Then, the frets, getting the fretboard techniques for cutting your fret slots. There's so many different ways to do it all, and they're all different, and it's so. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. I'm getting better and better. I keep chopping bits off the end of my fingers. That's the trouble.
That is the problem. So, what is next for Will Grove White?
Well, I think I'm just going to keep on going, Chris. I'm going to keep on the
goal in life, isn't it?
Yeah. Just keep on keeping on. I've got orders now, so all the ukuleles I'm making. Although I'm trying to make some stock ukuleles, because I've got a page on my website which says ukuleles for sale now, and I need some up there. So I'm trying to squeeze some in there. But just to keep. I'm on ukulele number 56, I think, now. I need to definitely make it to 100, if not 200. We'll see. I love this new instrument, this kanzoo thing. That's been great fun. But the other thing I'm doing is just keeping, because it's a very solitary business, making music, making musical instruments. Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't fit someone else in your workshop if you wanted to.
No. And I don't think I would want to, actually. I think it's there's something I can see why the character of a luthier is a kind of keep out of my way. It's because it's got to suit certain people. It suits definitely one part of my personality, which is just to be in control of my little environment, a little world, Yeah. But I have been missing the sociable and music making bit. So that's a thing that's next. I'm getting a little band together with a few friends.
By little band, you mean
band? It is a little band, yeah. We've got a little organ, a Hohner organetta, which is about, a foot long. And Carla U bass and a ukulele and a mandolin.
Beautiful.
So it's a nice little
combo.
All the
tiny instruments.
Yeah, all the tiny instruments.
You got to make one of those nano ukes. Well, you've been making some sopraninos.
Yes,
right?
I have done some. Well, I've always loved the little ukes, and I did have them in the show in the ukulele orchestra show. I would pull them out of my pocket. We had a tiny tangy ukulele, which was a sort of ornamental thing, but you could just about play an A minor. Well, you could play an A minor 7 and a D7, which was freak out. And a C, yeah, and then you're away. So that we had a break it down moment with the tiny ukulele there.
That's wonderful. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining me.
Not at all. No, great. A treat as ever to chat.
And thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you all soon.